Can I ask you something a little personal? Have you ever walked into the kitchen and completely forgotten why, or stared at someone you've known for years, yet for a split second, their name just vanished from your mind? It's scary, isn't it? Now, I want to be very clear with you. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here because your brain is quietly asking for help, and I don't want you to miss the early signs. As a neurologist with over 30 years of experience working with aging Americans, I've seen too many families lose precious time, too many husbands waiting too long, too many wives brushing it off as just aging. But let me tell you this. There's a real difference between normal forgetfulness and the early warning signs of Alzheimer's disease. According to the Alzheimer's Association, over 6.9 million Americans over the age of 65 are currently living with Alzheimer's. That's more than the entire population of Massachusetts. And yet most people don't recognize the signs until it's too late. So today, we're going to walk through the 10 quiet signs your brain might be showing long before a diagnosis ever happens. Because the truth is, your brain can send signals. And if we listen closely, you can still protect your memory, your independence, and the people you love. If any of this feels familiar, please tell me. Comment the number 1 if you've ever had a moment like this. Or comment 0 if you're not sure, but want to learn how to protect your brain starting today. Your story matters. Your memory matters. And I promise this is a journey we'll walk together. Let's begin. Number 1, why we miss the first red flags and how it hurts. Sometimes, the earliest signs of Alzheimer's don't look like medical problems at all. They look like little quirks. They sound like just getting older, and they feel like nothing urgent. That's why they often slip by unnoticed. In fact, many families only realize something is wrong after years of quiet decline. But here's the painful truth. By the time memory loss becomes obvious, Alzheimer's has often been progressing silently for 5 to 10 years. That's not a guess. It's backed by decades of research from the National Institute on Aging. Brain scans show that the physical changes of Alzheimer's, like shrinkage in the hippocampus and buildup of amyloid plaques, begin long before symptoms appear. So why don't we see the red flags? One reason is normalization. When someone forgets where they put the remote, we shrug. When they call us by the wrong name, we laugh. When they cancel plans or seem off, we blame stress, fatigue, or age, and little by little, the signs get missed. Here's another reason: shame and fear. No one wants to admit their brain is changing. It feels like a loss of control, a threat to identity, a frightening glimpse into a future no one is prepared for. So instead of speaking up, many older adults stay silent. They hide the mistakes. They cover the forgetfulness. They avoid conversations about what's really going on, and families wanting to protect or deny join in the silence. But this silence comes at a cost, because Alzheimer's is not just about forgetting. It's about the slow unraveling of function, of independence, of connection, and the earlier we acknowledge the signs, the greater the chance we have to intervene. That doesn't mean there's a cure, but it means we can start protective steps while the brain is still capable of building new connections. It means we can create routines, make dietary changes, address sleep issues, stimulate the brain, and open conversations before damage becomes permanent. Early recognition gives power back. That's why it's so important to listen to the little things. Are you or someone close becoming more withdrawn from conversations? Is there a pattern of repeating questions, forgetting details, or struggling to follow storylines? Has there been a drop in interest for hobbies, social events, or mental tasks? If so, don't dismiss it. Don't say, it's nothing. Say, let's take a closer look. There's no shame in awareness. There is only strength in attention. Because when we wait too long, the options narrow. But when we act early, the door remains open for support, for care, for life with dignity. So let me ask you gently, have you ever noticed something in yourself or someone you care about and just brushed it off? What made you hesitate to bring it up? Comment below. Type "miss the signs" if this part resonated with you, or looking deeper if you want to be more observant moving forward. And if you're here because you care, you're already doing something powerful. You're paying attention. That alone could change a life. Number 2, memory slips that could be dangerous. Know the difference? Let's be honest, forgetting things happens to everyone. You walk into a room and forget why you came in. You misplace your glasses, then realize they've been on your head the whole time. You struggle to recall the name of a movie you watched just last week. That's not alarming. That's aging. But here's what we need to understand. There is a clear line between age-related forgetfulness and the early signs of cognitive decline. And when you cross that line, even subtly, your brain is telling you something important. Let's talk about 3 major differences. First, normal. Forgetting is occasional. Alzheimer's is repetitive. It's one thing to forget where you left your car keys. It's another to forget where your car is parked, day after day. It's one thing to forget someone's name temporarily. It's another to forget who they are, even when they're a close family. According to Johns Hopkins Medicine, one of the earliest warning signs of Alzheimer's is asking the same question repeatedly within minutes without remembering what you already asked. That's not just forgetfulness. That's disruption of the short-term memory loop, specifically in the hippocampus, the brain's memory processing center. Second, normal aging affects memory. Alzheimer's affects function. Aging may slow your recall speed, but you can still finish tasks. With Alzheimer's, simple tasks become confusing. Following a recipe, balancing a checkbook, remembering how to play a favorite card game, not because you're tired, but because the step-by-step sequence, the logic starts to break down. The Alzheimer's Association describes this as difficulty completing familiar tasks at home, at work, or during leisure. That's a major red flag. Third, normal forgetfulness is manageable. Alzheimer's is disruptive. If you forget an appointment, but reschedule it easily, that's fine. But if you forget what day it is, what season you're in, or why you're at a certain place, that's a warning sign. This is called disorientation, and it's tied to breakdowns in the brain's temporal and parietal lobes. People begin to lose their grasp on time, place, and sometimes even identity. And this isn't something to ignore. Now, let's be clear. Experiencing 1 or 2 of these signs doesn't mean you have Alzheimer's, but when they happen frequently, interfere with daily life, or worsen over time, it's time to listen. Here's a gentle way to check in. Are your memory lapses increasing in number or severity? Are you relying more and more on notes, reminders, or other people to function? Are loved ones noticing changes in your behavior or awareness? If yes, don't panic, but don't ignore it either, because early awareness opens the door to early care, and early care means more years of independence, clarity, and connection. Here's something else. Your brain doesn't just suddenly stop working. It whispers first. A missed word, a forgotten appointment, a slip in confidence. If we brush it off, We miss the opportunity to respond early when support is most effective. So instead of saying, "That's just getting old," try saying, "This is my brain asking for attention. I'm going to listen," because silence allows damage to grow. But action protects the mind. If you've noticed some of these signs, comment aware. If not, but you're watching them, comment learning. You might be the voice that helps someone else notice their own changes. And remember, knowing is not fearing, knowing is power. Number 3, the social withdrawal spiral. When silence speaks louder, there's a subtle danger that slips beneath the radar for many families. It doesn't come with a fever. It doesn't show up on a lab test. It doesn't make the evening news, but it is one of the most common and most overlooked early signs of cognitive decline. It's called social withdrawal, and it matters more than most people realize. Let me be clear, choosing solitude from time to time is healthy. Many of us enjoy peace, reflection, and time alone. But when withdrawal becomes the default, not the choice, that's a signal. And for the aging brain, it's a red flag. Here's why. Your brain is a living network of over 100 billion neurons. Each thought, word, and interaction lights up this network. It's like a city vibrant, busy, and dependent on connection. But when you stop connecting socially, certain regions of the brain, especially those responsible for memory, attention, and mood, start to quiet down. Over time, these areas can begin to shrink, a process known as cortical atrophy. According to research published by the National Institutes of Health in 2022, older adults who reported low social engagement showed faster declines in memory function over a 6-year period, compared to those who stayed socially active. That's not just a small detail, that's years of independence, lost in silence. So what causes this kind of withdrawal? It often begins with discomfort, when memory slips become more frequent. People may start to feel embarrassed. They worry they'll forget someone's name mid-conversation. They fear being asked questions they can't answer. And rather than risk that, they quietly pull back. One skipped dinner, one missed book club, one unanswered phone call, and soon, isolation becomes a habit, a default state. But isolation is more than a lifestyle shift. It's a cognitive hazard. Social interaction isn't just nice, it's necessary for brain health. When we speak, our brain processes language. When we listen, our brain uses memory and attention. When we laugh, our brain releases serotonin and dopamine, two key chemicals for mood and motivation. Without this regular engagement, these processes weaken. And when they weaken, we lose more than conversation. We lose our sense of belonging, our rhythm, our cognitive sharpness. The CDC has identified social isolation as a serious health risk for older adults, linking it to a 50% higher risk of dementia and a 30% higher risk of stroke. Let that sink in. Half again as likely to develop dementia. And it doesn't take years of isolation for these effects to begin. Even a few months of reduced engagement can trigger noticeable changes in mood, energy, and mental clarity. That's why early awareness is so vital. So what can we do? First, notice the change. If you or someone you love starts opting out of familiar routines, stops returning messages, or avoids social situations without clear reason, pause. It's not just being in a mood. It may be the brain pulling away as it struggles to keep up. Second, create low-pressure connections. You don't need a crowd. Start with one person. A brief daily phone call, a 10-minute porch visit, reading out loud together. Even writing letters can engage the memory and language centers of the brain. Third, protect small routines that involve others. Morning walks, grocery trips with a friend, weekly calls with your sister. These are not luxuries, they're neurological lifelines. And finally, speak up. There is no shame in admitting you've been withdrawing. In fact, it's one of the strongest steps you can take. Say it to your doctor. Say it to your spouse. Say it to yourself. I've been pulling away and I want to understand why. Because acknowledgement opens the door to healing. You don't need to return to loud parties or packed events. You need purposeful, nourishing connection on your terms. And here's something beautiful. The brain is incredibly adaptive. Even if you've withdrawn for months, even years, just a few weeks of renewed engagement can reignite dormant areas in the brain. According to a study from UCLA's Longevity Center, structured social activity just twice a week for 60 minutes led to improved cognitive scores in older adults over a 12-week period. That's hope, that's power, and that's within reach. So, here's my gentle question for you. When was the last time you felt seen, truly connected? And what's one small thing you can do today to rebuild that bridge? If this spoke to you, please comment below. Type "still here" if you felt yourself withdrawing but want to come back. Or helping someone if you're supporting a loved one through this journey. Your words matter because silence can be loud. But your voice, your choice to connect, that can change everything. Your brain is still listening. Don't let silence win. Let's take a breath together. I know this video may have touched something deep. Maybe you felt it in your own life, or maybe in the quiet moments with someone you love. The truth is, your brain is always speaking. It speaks in small forgettings, in silent hesitations, in that subtle feeling of something's not quite right. But here's the hope. If your brain is still whispering, it means it hasn't given up. It's still fighting for you. And if you're watching this, it means you haven't given up either. That's powerful. You see, we don't prevent Alzheimer's with fear. We prevent it with awareness, with connection, and with action. It's never about being perfect. It's about being present. Maybe today. That action is as small as writing down your sleep pattern, calling an old friend, telling your doctor. I've been a little forgetful lately. Small steps, big protection. And even if the road ahead feels uncertain, you don't have to walk it alone. There's a quiet strength in choosing to know, to listen to your body, to care for the mind that's carried your memories, your laughter, your life, because your brain is still listening. Now, I'd love to hear from you. If this video spoke to you, please comment below, "Still listening," if you're ready to protect your mind. For someone I love, if you're watching this for a parent, spouse, or friend, your words could be the nudge someone else needs to finally speak up. And if this message touched your heart, please subscribe to this channel. We talk about stroke prevention, brain health, and how to stay sharp after 60. Because here at Dr. Brain, we believe in one thing: protect your brain before it needs saving. In our next video, I'll share, is memory loss normal in old age? It's a topic that saved lives, and you won't want to miss it. Until then, stay kind to your mind. And remember, your brain deserves your attention